5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another edition of Dead Air Live. Tonight we have a special treat. We have Jana Houston, who's a professional fitness instructor. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you, JoJo. Welcome.
What does a typical day consist of someone in your career?
How about I start with my day yesterday?
Oh boy.
Let's see, I got up about 5 in the morning, and it is December here in Boston, so it was cold and a little uncomfortable. But I, braved the morning, and I prepared for a busy day. I packed a lot of clothes into my bag because a group fitness instructor and a personal trainer is sweating a lot and always needs to keep fresh, so I did a lot of packing. I pack appropriate food for the day so I can sustain energy. And then I proceeded to drive into Boston from my home. When I arrived, I had a 6:10 a.m. muscle work class to teach, and I had about 7 students waiting for me, and it was a great class.
At 6:10 in the morning?
Yeah, it's not one of my most favorite classes to teach, honestly. It's a little hard, especially driving in. I get a little intimidated by the darkness and a little fearful of kind of, just approaching the day so early. It's not I swore at one point in my career that I would never get up or work before 9 a.m., but times have changed.
So you go to work in the dark and you come home in the dark?
Most days, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
So professional fitness instructors work pretty hard.
Yes, they do. Yes. We're a new industry, only about 20 years old, and we're making our way through a lot of changes and a lot of, challenges. So it's important that we keep spreading the word that, it is important to maintain a healthy, fit, active lifestyle.
So what time do you go to bed the night before if you get home in the dark? If you wake up,
yeah.
If you have to wake up at 5 o'clock, what is a day in the life like for Jana Houston?
Sunday nights I'm preparing, physically, mentally. Let's put it this way, I'm not going out, I'm not, staying out too late. And then, once I get there, not only do I teach that class, but I follow it up with a second class, which is an even more intense class. It's a boot camp class. And for that class, I had about 15 people. And I run them through 2-minute drills of everything you can imagine. It's an Olympic-style workout. They are pushed to the limit.
Give us an example of some of the stuff that you do, and what time after you do your 6:10 class, when is your next class?
7:10.
Oh my,
Yeah.
So when do you eat?
It doesn't end there. Then I have an 8 o'clock client where I start to personal train. I do one-on-one training. My 8 a.m. client yesterday was about a 49-year-old executive who her goal is to make it to 50 and be as fit and fabulous as she can. Then I have a little break, and I usually get some oatmeal and maybe a cup of juice. And then I proceeded to train yesterday at 9 a.m. and then 10, 11, 12. It just keeps going.
So what happens if you're tired or if you're not in the mood? Then how do you handle that? Because I'm sure every day you just do not want to go in and train.
Oh, no,
people.
That's quite the contrary, actually. I love doing my job.
You love doing it? Oh, you
yeah,
do?
Yeah. There's always room for inspiration that I need to draw upon to keep going. And I've found, through my 20 years in the business, ways to do that. I'm very creative with it. Sometimes it can be as simple as, listening to some talk radio programming on a drive from one facility to another, because I do work at a few facilities. But I still want to tell you about my day yesterday.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So, the clients that I trained 10 people yesterday, one-on-one, and they ran such the gamut. It's just truly amazing to work with people physically like this. I trained a woman in, her no, actually she's 26, and she's a Harvard student. She's getting her master's in sociology. And I trained her about 4 p.m. yesterday, and she said something that really stuck with me. She said that, working out for her is just a godsend. She views it as, almost like a church type of experience,
Wow.
She had just had a fight with her sister when she came to me, so she was a little upset over that. But she, at the end of the workout, she says, "I think I'm going to go apologize to my sister."
That is, so you had a very positive impact,
Well-
and she was able to release.
Yeah,
A lot of her
she
stress.
actually probably did it more for herself. But yes, people do need guidance when it comes to exercise. I always say it's like getting your hair cut. I wouldn't venture to cut my own hair, although maybe it might look like I did. No,
Your hair looks great.
no, and I wouldn't, expect someone to, typically try to do that. They go to professionals, and it's the same with exercise. If someone is really serious about approaching health and fitness, they come to a professional and they seek guidance, and they get it from me.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you want to continue your day?
Oh, yes. So again, I trained 10 different people yesterday. I had a gentleman who's in his 40s and, young children, and he really needs to lose weight. So I'm helping him with that. And I had, women of all ages. I do train more women than men. And then in the evening, I taught 2 more classes. I taught a 5:30 and a 6:30 and a 7. But again, if you pace yourself, it's like, I tell people, it's like any other job. You just keep doing what you love, and you keep working at it, and it is an excellent profession to be involved with.
And everybody loves you. As a matter of fact, we have a tape that we want to look at just to prove that, of an aerobics class that you did at Fitness International in Boston.
Being in a class pushes me more. I mean, all these people are around, and if they're doing it, I can do it. I love group exercise in terms of I love the choreography, I love the group dynamic, because it pushes you to challenge yourself.
My name is Jana Houston, and I'm a group exercise instructor. I've been teaching for about 20 years. I truly believe in this process and this thing that we do called group exercise. It's absolutely amazing how people can benefit from a class given by an instructor who they don't even know, nor have they ever met before, but yet in 1 hour their lives can be changed significantly.
It's great to take a class with other people because it motivates you. You might not feel like going to the gym, but you talk to somebody, oh, you're going to that class today? And some classes need partners, and you partner up with people that you know, and it just motivates you to do it.
My name is Bella, and I have been going to this gym for about 5 years now, and I've been taking many classes with Jana, which all of them I love.
It's really hard for me at times to please everybody. I'll have people come up to me before a class and ask me not to use certain types of music, or one time somebody asked me to use music with lyrics because she liked to hear singing. So I had to change what I was going to do on that day to accommodate that member. Volume can be a big issue for people. Some people love the music to be super loud. I like it loud. but others that it'll bother their ears. And you know, sometimes I have people come to class and actually put their hands over their ears because they're annoyed by the loud music. And that bothers me sometimes because, you know, they're clearly sending me a message that I need to turn down the music, but they won't tell me.
She's very knowledgeable about everything. She explains what she's doing, why it's good for you. She's constantly reminding you about your posture, which my posture since I've been taking her classes is awesome. It used to be good before I got compliments on it, but she just inspires you.
Being in a class pushes me more. I mean, all these people are around, and if they're doing it, I can do it. I don't want to slack off. I mean, sometimes we lie to ourselves, and we get on the elliptical machine, and we start really strong, and then we start to get exhausted, so we turn it down a little bit, and we slow it down a little bit. But in these classes, you're pushed to move, you're pushed to go beyond your limits.
I've pushed myself further than I ever could. I mean, I never would do it on my own, and she just gives you the motivation to push yourself a little bit more, and you do, and when you're done, you're so proud of yourself for doing what you did.
And everybody gains something from aerobic work. We're supposed to do 3 aerobic workouts a week. Is what we've found to help someone be healthy. You need to do it for about 20 minutes at a minimum. However, people do find increased endorphin release and increase in energy from a little bit longer span. So a lot of our aerobic classes will run for over 30, 40 minutes now. And we're moving the whole time. We're experiencing the joy of movement. We learn routines that are based on music, a 32-count combination, which musicians recognize as a complete phrase in the music. That will be a guiding force for many of the classes that you see on this tape. We will choreograph the routines, and we will follow specific guidelines set forth by some of the certifying bodies in the aerobic profession. Some of the 2 highly regarded certifying bodies are the American College of Sports Medicine and also the American Council on Exercise. Instructors should be certified prior to teaching a class.
Jana, this was fantastic. Everybody loves you. Hey, this is wonderful. Group exercise. Tell us more about group exercise, because everyone in this tape, they live and die by group exercise.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an interesting profession. First of all, when I go to a company or a club and looking for employment, they're not asking me, where did you go to college to teach group exercise? So an age-old kind of issue is you don't need a college degree to teach group exercise. But, a lot of people who do teach group exercise are highly educated. We, as I said in the video you just showed, we are obligated to be certified. And what that means is every 2 years we have to update our certification. So we have to stay current on anatomy and physiology and different, different trends in the world, in the exercise world. And it's a supply and demand issue when it comes to teaching, I'll be honest. If you want to get hired someplace, they're generally not going to hire you right off the bat. What ends up happening is there's a need for a teacher, and they have your name, they have your number, they have your qualifications.
Right.
They call you when there's a need, when there's an open spot, and then you go in and you teach. And then it becomes a popularity contest and an availability issue. And again, all these dynamics, eventually, if you know the business well, you end up getting a spot at a club or a few classes, and you become a regular on their schedule.
Now, you are in a great place. You work at Fitness International in Boston, which is a phenomenal club. I mean, it's small, but it's very, very hip and chic. How did you get into Fitness International? I mean, I shouldn't say what did you do, because they love you there. There's a lot of respect, and you have a great group of people that you work with. There's a few of you. There's Ed, and there's Kyle, and Sue.
And Sue,
And
and the
Sue.
owner, Ken.
And you're like a family. So how did they find you, or how did you find them?
I'll give you a little history on that one. I was teaching for a rather large chain of health clubs, and I was actually teaching about 10 to 15 classes a week. I was driving all over Boston. I was giving it my all. In fact, I counted one week. I actually, every week, was meeting the needs of 185 of their clients. 185 regular people were in my classes every week.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I asked if I could take a vacation. And I actually went out to California with my kids because I'd always wanted to see California. And on vacation, I got a phone call and was told that I would not be receiving a vacation pay check. And I had counted on that money. And when I heard that, I immediately got back, and Fitness International and I just fell into one another. And it's been 4 years of an excellent relationship. Yes, I definitely, in the industry, there are good and there are not so good facilities that offer exercise programming and, that work with their instructors, and really, you have to care about the staff first and cultivate your staff first, and then they will care for your members, because people in my business, we're not in it to, we're not in it to not do that.
Well, you could tell there's a lot of respect where you work, and it's great. Even when I go down to the security, it's really, you have to get through the iron gates to get up to your place, which is wonderful. But everybody respects you, and when we look at this next tape, we're going to see some pretty interesting stuff. And I'm not sure if we're ready for that tape, but we will be soon. Anyway, do you want to tell us anything? We left off at the last Tuesday that you were working, and you were up till like about 6 o'clock. How late did you work to that Tuesday evening with all your group exercise?
You mean I was teaching at 6 o'clock.
You were
yeah.
teaching at 6, but you went all through the day, you went through the night. What time did your last class end on that Tuesday?
It ended at 7:30, but much like a very respected comedian, Kathy Griffin, who I absolutely adore and love, she's a fabulous woman. She said one time she never passes up an opportunity to work, and because she loves what she does. And when she said that, I actually adopted that viewpoint. So I don't turn down anything unless it's my family comes first, of course. But yes, last night at 7:30, I actually trained one more client, and this is a grandmother of 3, and she is, just a person who's been with me for years, and she was willing to come to the gym at 7:30, and I said, I'll be there. And I trained her until 8, and then I drove home for about an hour, which got me home in the door by 9 o'clock.
When do you eat dinner during all this?
Well, I'd like to say that I abide by the rules of eating and so forth, but honestly, I do go home at night and eat when I get home, which is not, I don't advise that to people because it's a late night eating issue,
Right.
and then I go to bed right after. So,
Okay. I've been working out with you for a year, and you haven't had a cold, which is pretty amazing. So you work a very rigorous routine. How do you stay so healthy?
Well, that actually, again, talking about my day yesterday, I did have a client who came in. She's a new mom, and she was sick with a cold. And I do have to say, I get nervous when that happens because I can't really afford, or I don't feel like I can afford to take time. People need me. So I'm very careful. I use hand sanitizer and so forth. But I had to also be sensitive to her because she wasn't feeling well. She's a new mom. She has a baby at home, a 6-month-old, and she's a corporate lawyer. So she's got a really busy life. So I made sure to pander to her that day and make sure her workout was appropriate so that she felt good when she left. My goal is to always leave them feeling better than when they walked in.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to go to another tape roll-in, and we're going to see how these folks, boy, do they love you.
I was very hesitant to take a group exercise because most of the time it's really full of desperate housewives or skinny divas, and there's usually not any men. So I decided to take the plunge based on some prodding from my personal trainer, and I'm really glad I did, although I will say the first class was a bit of a disaster. I felt like I had 2 left sneakers on and was sweating profusely, tripped on the bench, fell over. It was really, a debacle. But, one thing led to another, and I kept going, and it really has turned into me taking 3 or 4 classes a week, especially with my one trainer, and I really love it. And, it's hard being the only guy, but it is also kind of cool because, there's really no pressure. Men tend to be very macho and, mine's bigger than yours. Can I say that? And so I'm very comfortable, and it really motivates you, and you can dance a lot, and you don't really feel like you're working out. The treadmill, I think, is like torture. They should put, terrorists on it.
A great classroom instructor such as Jana has the ability to teach a class as a whole while instructing individually or correcting individually on an as-needed basis without interrupting the flow of the class.
If I couldn't go to my classes every week, I would most certainly gain weight, get tired, have no energy, and I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing now on my own, like going hiking and all these fun things that I get to do with my friends that before, I could have done it, but it would have been really hard. And now I can do these things like plan a trip to hike the Appalachian Trail, or, decide, okay, this year I'd like to do the walk for hunger, or I'd like to do a 3K or a 5K race. I mean, I would never have thought of that 2 years ago. So I think, if I didn't have group fitness, I would probably be a different person overall.
I just want to say that I feel with group fitness, there's something about it that's so special when you see an instructor that's really, really in tune and really interested in it and really is dedicated to it. And I found that when I started taking classes with Jana. And I really know how dedicated she is, and if the music's not right, she's changing it. If the moves aren't great, she is going to learn more and make it even better and harder. She really cares about you working to your potential.
There's a certain camaraderie with the class and with people that are meeting. You're going to the same class together. You're working hard, and then when you actually see someone and you see the changes in them, and you see how wow, she couldn't even stand up, and now look how straight she is. So when you see that, and these people that come along into their classes and they go there and they do it, and sure enough, it's you see the change, and then you can encourage them, and then they're like, oh really, I look better, wow, and then they get one, and then they want to come and spend more time in the class. Been involved in group exercise for probably about 8 years or so.
First class I took was, I think it was step aerobics. And that's something that I do every week, no excuses, Monday and Friday, always. My friend says, do you want to go out to eat? I say, oh, no, can't do it until after 7. So, those classes have become really important to me as far as overall fitness.
Jana's awesome because she really engages you. A lot of instructors are just standing up there. Well, there was this one actually who was walking around drinking her Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which was really gross because I was hungover, so I wanted to throw up. But Jana is always engaged in the class, and she is an instructor. And I think what happens a lot of times is that instructors forget the word instruct, so they're just up there doing their own thing, where they have to actually teach the class. And Jana's really good about keeping you going and motivated. And although, sometimes she wanders a little bit and loses count, which, I think Elmo sometimes can count better than Jana. But she's good because she keeps you motivated. And, although one more time was 3 more times ago, you still get into it. And at the end, you actually see results. So it's one of those things that you keep wanting to go back, where I've had instructors and you never want to see them again and hope they get hit by a bus when they go out in the parking lot. So this instructor, Jana, she's just really awesome, and she's down to earth. You could tell her anything and she's not going to judge you or anything, and she knows when you're having a bad day, and she has bad days and you have bad days, but at the end of the day, you know, the goals are the same, and that's to help you work out and stay in shape. Well, if you're straight, it's awesome, because it's like dating gone wild, because there's 20 women to one guy. So if you're looking to meet someone, it's really good. But if you're married or you're gay, you can feel really comfortable because there's really not any threat. I mean, everybody's there for the same goal. And I think Jana really puts a level of relaxation to it, where it might be a little bit more hardcore in some gyms, where Jana's just kind of more relaxed. So you feel really comfortable with her. And the people I only can speak for my class. The people in our class are really cool, very comfortable. I mean, there's some crazy AWOL people, but you know, they do their own thing, and we just kind of do our own thing, and what it results in is a little core group that comes every week, but we're not cliquey. So when people show up, you know, we'll still invite them in. So, you know, hello guys, you know, the Patriots do this kind of workout, the Bruins, the Red Sox, you know, football players take ballet, for God's sake. So doing a class together really isn't taking away your masculinity. You're actually going to be able to build muscles that you might never work out with on a machine, and it's also good for your heart and all that good stuff.
Yes, my goal is to defy numbers. I am 52 years old. I will be 53 this summer, and I refuse to be my age. My age is a number. A birthday is just another day. There is a woman who is in a lot of my classes who is in her mid-70s, and she is absolutely adorable. She comes in, she has a great positive attitude. She is very friendly, she works as hard as she can, and she disregards any physical limitations she might have. She has her little sexy workout top knotted up right under the bust line, showing that midriff. And when I see her, that's what I would like to attain in my future when I get to be her age.
I love taking classes because it allows me to work with a trained instructor, and it takes the pressure off of me trying to figure out what workout I need to be doing to target certain muscles, certain areas.
I've been teaching group fitness for 16 years, and I have been all over the place teaching. I've taught in Boston, I've taught in Florida, I've taught in Germany, and I have 2 small children now, so I'm still teaching. I'm probably more part-time now, and I just enjoyed it for many, many years. I've seen a lot of changes. One of the hard things, I think, with teaching is that you have to put a lot of energy into it. You have to be upbeat all the time. You have to put 150% into it just to get 80% out of your members.
Thank you, Nabi.
Jana, more people that love you. It goes on and on. Tell us about all the different types of group exercises that you teach, all the different classes, because I think you do step, you do weights. I don't know what you do. That's why we're here.
Yeah. I have to give, a lot of credit, I really do, to the leaders in the industry. And there are quite a few. People who've, brought in different components to these classes, like spinning. That's a group exercise class where everybody's on a bicycle, and they all, you know, through the instructor, being led by the instructor, they listen to music. They, you know, are challenged through adding tension, taking away tension, lifting up out of the saddle, sitting in the saddle. It's a great aerobic workout. We've got classes like step aerobics, which is proven to be a low impact yet high intensity class, where you actually do choreography set to, you know, again, 32 count music, phrasing, and that can be challenging for the mind as well as the body, which is not a bad thing, because in today's society we need to have, you know, things to think about other than, you know, what we're focused on all the time. It's good to take a little break from it every day. We have classes like kickboxing, where the martial art aspect is brought in, and those are very popular. We also have muscle work classes where, again, you're just doing foundation training, and as well as yoga and Pilates. I consider those to be more foundation training classes. Those are great classes to start with. And, you know, in little pockets of fitness, we also have things like, you know, dance classes. And, you know, there's a very popular, actually, it's a class called Zumba right now, which I don't teach.
Zumba?
Yes.
Spell that, Zoom.
Z-U-M-B-A. And it's the,
Zumba.
Yeah, and it's the latest and greatest trend. And I respect it. I think it's great. I could teach it, but it falls under an interesting little blanket of trend that's going on in my industry right now, and it's a programming. It's called the Les Mills program, and somebody, I don't know if his name's Les Mills or what, got an idea that he could market classes that are kind of prefabbed, you know, like every instructor has to teach this exact format no matter what. They're trained for it. It's like if someone was to tell me, okay, you know, from A to Z, you're going to do this. And with 20 years experience, that's not something that I'm really interested in going into now. And I think it's a shame that clubs are forcing, especially qualified instructors, to go backwards. It's almost like saying to a top chef, I want you to make hamburgers and French fries for the next, you know, year. It doesn't make sense.
So it's putting someone in a box.
Yeah.
It's basically taking away the freedom.
Yeah, great for new instructors. I mean, if I was a new instructor coming on board, I would love it because, you know, again, I'm being given the tools to do my job. But for someone who has experience, for someone who, you know, I have to say, when I teach, I look at it as a bit of a little bit of entertainment. It's almost like going to a rock, I view it as going to a rock show or a rock concert. You know, when I go see someone perform in a show, it's exciting, it's inspiring, it broadens my horizons. But, you know, the question is, would I go see the same performer every single week? Well, as a group exercise instructor, I'm kind of asking people to do that, to commit to coming every single week. And that means that I have to bring something to the table as well.
Well, I can personally say, because I train with you once a week, that you are exceptional. You have dedication and passion, and you're always joyful. You're always up. You always have positive things to say. You are not a negative person by any stretch of the imagination. You inspire me. I was at the gym this morning at 6:45. I mean, you know, like you told me, you can't just work out with weights one day a week because you said you're only going uphill halfway. If you want to go uphill all the way, you have to do it at least 2 times a week. That really stuck in my head. You made me think, that's wonderful, and that's what you do to everybody. People, when they're around you, when people were coming here to do your testimonies, they drove from New York, upstate New York, to come and see you because they believe in you. That's how much you inspire people. And I'm so proud that, you know, I'm here talking with you tonight because you inspire me, and I know that you teach people, you inspire everybody, and everyone just gets pumped up. So anyway, we're getting back to the Les Mills style. That's something that you don't do because you don't need to go there because it's taken away your freedom. Tell us about the lifestyle in the clubs, because I know that I see a lot of people when I go to clubs when you're not there. You know, I go to different clubs, and there are people, you could tell that they've been binging, they've been partying, they've been up all night long. you know that they're trying to sweat it off in the gym, and then they go to work. What is that all about? How do they, tell us what your viewpoint on that is.
Well, you know, of my client base, my personal training clients, I train about 21 people a week. About 6 of them are in their 20s, you know, a handful in their 30s, you know, quite a few are in their 40s, and then, you know, I've got 50s, 60s, and 70s. Wow. Yeah, I just picked up a 70-year-old client, which is very exciting. But basically, I myself have lived a pretty passionate life, you know, and I've experienced a lot, and I'm glad I have, no regrets. However, I've learned lessons, and I try not to, like you said, I try not to focus on the negative. I'm more than happy to listen, and I'm very, very definitely interested in, you know, encouraging healthier lifestyles, but I also don't want to negate the fact that people need to go through some of the deadly sins to learn lessons in life. So the fact that I'm there to just help them know that when they do maybe hit a roadblock, that they can be strong enough to get through it is really what I try to do. Is I try to make them, help them see that they're stronger and more capable than they ever imagined that they were. And that's usually one of my first goals when I meet someone for the first time and I start training them, is to show them how strong they are.
But when people are going to the gym and they've been binging all night and then they work out, what's happening to the body? Is that a good thing?
It's better than not working out, I guess, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, you've heard of the saying, people sweat the alcohol out of them, and that's fine, you know. Yeah, as I said, I'm within reason. You know, I would never, you know, want to see someone do any harm to themselves, but I certainly can understand the addictions of alcohol and drugs, and, you know, I, you know, definitely want to keep myself where I'm at in my life with the experiences I have learned, and also keep my knowledge of what's important first and foremost, you know. And I just rely on people to, you know, basically make the right choices. But I'm not there to, you know, counsel them on different, you know, variables.
Okay, so is there something, I know that we all have our different views on plastic surgery, and I look at you and you look like you have a perfect body, but is there anything that you'd want to change about your body? Because I mean, you're working out all day long.
Yeah.
And what's your view on plastic surgery?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, probably at least 2-3 days a week, I don't feel great at all. I mean, I really question, you know, my own physicality. I mean, you know, you've got the role models out there that, you know, have smaller waists and leaner legs, and, you know, it's hard sometimes. I mean, it would be great to have, you know, that perfect body. But on the flip side, you know, I try to put it in perspective, and I usually feel that way when I'm tired, or when I haven't been paying enough attention to my mind, or what I'm, you know, what I'm all about, or what, you know, who I am. I tend to find that if I lose perspective, and I've learned from experience how to get it back and get my perspective back, and realize that, you know, we are blessed to have one body and it's our obligation to be as fit and as healthy and wonderful as we possibly can.
We get out of bed in the morning, we're pretty lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
That we can move, and
exactly.
People always tend to want something that they don't have. Yeah. That's human nature. Why? Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not against plastic surgery. I mean, honestly. Okay. I mean, you know, we live in a society where if someone wants to change something, they can. I mean, surgery is surgery, and it comes with a risk. But, you know, I don't know. I'd rather see someone get, you know, a tummy tuck than to have them have like heart bypass. I mean, you know, again, if they had to go into a surgical situation, you know, I'm proud of people that make changes when they, you know, when they feel it's something that's intrinsically part of who they need to be, you know.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the health business industry. Tell us a little bit about that, because there's a lot of stuff that goes on the inside. And you don't really, you don't really know the grind. And I know that you work in a great club, but I know that there are other clubs, you just see stuff going on behind the scenes, and I'm saying, what is going on? Tell us a little bit about the health club industry. How does it all work?
You know, every club I think is different. People have asked me, if you don't like the way things are, why don't you own your own club?
And that would be tricky, wouldn't it?
Yes, I feel, you know, I'm best served training, teaching, and if I was to get involved in the business end, I would be fearful that it would take away my joy and passion, and I wouldn't have as much contact with people. Yeah, I mean, the best clubs, as I said, are going to be the ones that focus on their staff, that want their staff to be happy, healthy, and who value the differences in their staff and not try to pigeonhole everybody to be something, you know, just because it works well for the owner. That's definitely not, you know, a health club. A healthy health club is typically should be run by a healthy person, you know, which I've been blessed to find.
So, where do you see the future of health clubs going? Because it is a 20-year-old business. That's not very long.
No, it's a young industry, absolutely. You know, my mom didn't go to group exercise classes, and I see, maybe not in my lifetime, but at some point I do see our medical, you know, it's already starting to happen, our medical community. I see someone going to a doctor and the doctor saying, you know, look, we ran some tests and you have high blood pressure and you're on the risk of diabetes. There's a treadmill, go get on that, I'm gonna get you a trainer.
Oh, okay.
Basically,
okay.
we're going to fall into a part where people no longer have the choice to be irresponsible with their health. It won't be something that can be, you know, people can't be, they'll be held accountable. If they want services, the doctor and or medical community will hold them accountable for taking care and taking responsibility for themselves first. And then, then they'll give them the option of, you know, the other treatments.
What happens to a person physically when they work out? What is going on with the whole anatomy? I know that when I wake up in the morning, every morning I get up and I walk for 40 to 45 minutes. I just feel like I'm jazzed up.
Yeah.
Because I'm breathing in that air, I'm getting the sunshine, and I'm saying, wow, why haven't I been doing this before?
Yeah.
What is going on inside why do I feel so good? What is it about exercise that makes people feel good? I know we talk about the endorphins. What's going on? Can you like break it down?
I mean, you know, I could go into the science.
I want you to. Can you?
I can, yeah. I mean, the first thing...
Because we have time.
Okay. When you're doing aerobics, what happens in the initial 5 minutes is you go into a very beginning phase of transition, and you're burning your simple carbohydrates, your glucose, your glycogen, you know, your readily available fuel. As the time lengthens, after you go into 15, say 20 minutes of continuous movement, your body starts to say, okay, we need some better fuels. And at that point, it taps into your excess fat stores.
Oh, so, after 5 minutes?
No. After 20 minutes.
After 20
give or
minutes.
Take. Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
good,
it's you know, it's not a set science with every person. It's going to vary, and then from that point on, you're utilizing your excess fat stores. So the weight loss is going to happen. You know, for me to answer the question that you're asking it's kind of deep because I don't know why we're designed to do what we do, but I do know that if I'm struggling with a problem, or if I'm having low self-esteem, or if I'm thinking thoughts of, you know, just a mild depression type of thing, or discouragement over the headlines in the newspaper that day, somehow, some way, once I'm active and once I'm doing something that's going to be taking responsibility for my health, the answers come.
Because you're releasing something's being released.
Yeah.
And they say too that if you lift weights, that it keeps working even after you've been lifted. I don't get that.
Well,
how does that happen?
Well, every year of our adult lives we're atrophying. It's an unfortunate, you know, part of growth. Yes, we're shrinking.
Yeah.
However, we can reverse that by adding excess weight loads to define muscles in a very safe setting, which is why I think health clubs are necessary. because you do need to attend to the whole body. And then hypertrophy occurs, the muscles grow, and then when you leave the gym, your body is still metabolically hotter than it was before you started.
Oh, so it's the metabolism that's going on and on.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah.
Science.
Yeah.
Working.
Yes, and that's why good trained group and personal trainers can help people to, to become aware of those things.
Okay, so tell us about your role models, because I know that you have some role models that you look up to, and.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do have a goal, and that is to do more television work, which is why I'm here today. I think that more and more exposure to this is important. One of my main role models is a woman called Jackie Warner. She did a television show called Workout, and it was on the Bravo network, and she said twice, she looked in the camera just like I'm going to look into the camera right now, and she said, "Group exercise is the wave of the future." She said it twice. Her show was more about personal training, and even more so, it was actually more about her being a lesbian, which was fine. I mean, I'd never seen a lesbian, portrayed, and personal issues such as relationships and stuff. So it really enlightened me. I do enjoy watching television, and she definitely inspired me. I would look forward to coming home at night and watching the show Workout because it spoke to me. Another role model I have is Madonna's trainer, Tracy Anderson. You know, I respect her for being a trainer to someone who would not settle for anything but the best. And a third role model I have is a friend of mine, Sue Delaney, who after I met her 4 years ago, I realized that my future is sound in the health club industry. And I wasn't so sure about that prior to meeting Sue.
Well, Sue's a pretty amazing person, and I was asking her some questions about what she would do to change the youth and help the youth. And she had some great advice that I wish she would give to our president, because she has the answers to change the obesity problem. And I was listening very attentively to her. We're going to roll a tape of her very soon, but she said that kids should start doing group exercise and training from the first grade. That's essential, that's where it all should begin.
Yeah.
And I can understand why she's your role model.
Yeah, that's interesting because my first exposure to group exercise was in my gym class back in the 80s. One of the gym teachers didn't want to put us on the basketball court and have us, run around with basketballs. So he popped in a Jane Fonda tape. And for 2 weeks, we did Jane Fonda. And do you know, I was probably 15 years old, I couldn't wait to get to gym. Every single day I was like, oh, I have gym today. I get to do that tape, and it spoke to me because there was no competition. I felt as if everybody was working as a group and we were all doing something that would make us a little better at the end.
Great. Okay, so let's roll that tape of Sue and see what she has to say.
Our bodies are made to work physical labor. We, as a species, haven't caught up physically to our great technological advances, and our bodies aren't used to sitting around being on a computer screen all day. And understanding this, and understanding that we're evolutionarily behind our minds, and we've got to kind of make up for that, brings people into the gym, and it can be fun, but it should be something you want to do, something you want to do to get a better night's sleep, or something you want to do to get into last year's clothes that you feel are too tight now, or just something you want to do to have a quality of life when your grandchildren become of the age to play with them. You don't want to be sedentary. You don't want to go around Disney World on a go-kart. You want to walk. You want to play golf, and you want to do things even in your 70s and 80s. And as the baby boomers in this country get older, I'm still on the low end of that cusp. They can look to people like me, whereas they might not want to look to somebody who's 25 because that person doesn't understand them anymore, and say, yeah, I want to be active in my 60s and 70s. And so that, for me, is a huge challenge.
Jana, tell us about your knee injury, how you got it, because you have just blown my mind with what we're going to see next. But tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. let's see, distractions, limitations, and things that hold us back. They're there. They're there for even people who are doing the jobs like Sue and Jackie Warner and Tracy Anderson are doing. We all have them. We wouldn't be human if we didn't. I was distracted. You know, actually, I was thinking about a guy I was dating.
That's when you get your knee injury?
I was
oh
thinking,
my goodness, don't get me started.
I was thinking that, you know, that relationship that I was sort of petering in and out of really wasn't going to work. And I was teaching a dance class, and I was thinking these thoughts and distracted. And
you weren't focusing.
No. And I love doing high-end plyometric moves. It's one of my specialties, and I fell. And
what's a high plyometrical move?
Just taking your fitness to the highest level. I was leaping in the air, teaching a dance class, and a fitness dance class, and I twisted my knee and tore my ACL, and you know, been kind of paying for it ever since. So whenever my knee acts up, I always think, you know, geez, you know, be careful. Be careful what you wish for. You know, it's sometimes, you know, that's why I lead a very careful life now, because what brings me the most joy, I don't want to have taken away from me. So I always try to stay focused and really, at this point, pay attention to my needs and where I'm at in terms of fitness.
Okay, we're going to check out this tape of you healing yourself or taking care of yourself.
So I'm working right now trying to strengthen my knee a little bit. This is a good thing to do if you do hurt your knee joint and you want to kind of develop a little support for it. Is every few seconds I'm going to push my heel. What I'm doing right now is pushing my foot against this surface, and I can feel the joint getting more stable and strong. I'm bearing my weight. And I just did that for about 10 seconds, and now I'm resting. And I'm gonna do it again in a few seconds. All right, ready? And again, I'm just gonna push. I'm pushing against the stable surface. My knee is at a 90-degree angle. So it's becoming more stable simply by that. It's called isometric contraction. And now I'm resting. It's a bit uncomfortable, but it will give me some base for support today during my classes. All right, I'm going to do it again. I'm pushing against the wall. See, the human body is really amazing. It has all the tools necessary to heal itself and to be strong. It's just we have to, really assess what's going on. We have to learn from other people. We have to use resources like physical therapists and personal trainers and group exercise instructors and doctors to help us through the times when we're injured. I'm resting now. And the ice is to decrease the swelling because there is swelling going on in my knee definitely after it got hurt again yesterday. If you hurt your knee, a good way to rehabilitate yourself at home is to find something comfortable to lie on. Find a flat wall in your house and you prop yourself up with your knees at a 90-degree angle. You bear your foot into the wall as hard as you can for about 10 seconds. That's called isometric contraction. With an ice pack, even a bag of peas or ravioli would be fine. Anything you have in your freezer that would fold over your leg. And you bear against the wall, which is what I'm doing right now, for about 10 seconds. It's an isometric contraction, and it helps to stabilize the joint, while the ice helps to decrease the swelling in the joint. You do that for about 10 seconds, and then rest for about 30 seconds. Just let it go. And then repeat for about 10 minutes. And this will allow your knee, it will reduce the swelling, and it will also allow you to have a more stable joint because you're compressing the joint back to its normal place. When you're ready again, you press into the wall, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm bearing my foot against the wall for about 10 seconds. It will feel a little uncomfortable, but again, the result is you'll be able to walk better throughout the rest of the day.
Jana, another amazing video of you helping yourself with your knee injury, and that's great. What would you like to leave as your legacy?
Well, basically, I am already 20 years into walking the walk and talking the talk, and, you know, just continuing to pursue the best health and fitness role model that I can be. I definitely want to go out into the media. I want to get out on television. I want to do a program called Class. I would love to have a video camera follow me around all day long and see everything that goes on. I actually really enjoy watching TV. I think it's great. I give you a lot of credit for your pursuit in the television world, and
Thank you.
everybody here at the group that we're working with tonight. And I basically want to do this as a full-time job. I want to get out there and, well, I guess it wouldn't be full-time because I still have to do my fitness work. I'm not going to leave that. But I'd love to show the world, really, again, the reality of health and fitness, and all the people who don't even realize they're inspiring other people when they come to the gym and, you know, improve their lives and, you know, just spend time with me every day.
Can you give us a sneak preview of something that we haven't seen tonight or talked about tonight that maybe the world would like to know about the health industry, or something to look forward to with Jana Houston, reality TV Class?
Absolutely. You know, I think I haven't given even an ounce of really my past, and, you know, it's an interesting past. And I think that if that was told, the story was told, the adversity I've had to teach while I've had different things going on in my life. And again, I've experienced the 7 deadly sins, as they say. Maybe not all 7 of them, because, you know, I've never hurt anybody.
Yeah,
but, you know, all the things that go along with living as a human being.
We're human. We're human.
So,
Jana, thank you so much for being here tonight. You have been such a delightful guest, and I look forward to working out with you more. Thank you,
You're
Jana.
doing great, Joe. We can't go anymore, right?